Hello, everybody. Welcome to Big Blue Kickoff Live, presented by Cadillac, the official luxury vehicle of the Giants. We're in the Giants podcast studio, presented by Hackensack Meridian Health. Keep getting better. I am John Schmeelk, joined by Jonathan Casillas. We're taking your calls at 201-939-4513. Neither one of us have been on since the Giants named Jaxson Dart quarterback, so we'll give the quick take on that. And then, JC, I want to dive in a little bit to what this is going to look like for Dart against this Chargers defense specifically, because I think it's going to be a challenge for him because the Chargers defense is ranked as one of the best defenses in football. But first, give me your take on the move when you heard about it on Tuesday.
I got excited. Look, people asking, is he ready? You don't want to put him in when he's not ready. And it's like, why would you put him at QB2 in the beginning of the year if you didn't feel that he was ready? He's already played snaps. He got snaps last week, Sunday's game versus the Chiefs. I'm excited, and I love Russell Wilson. I love his professionalism. I listened to what they said post move, with the media and stuff. They're all saying the right things. Jaxson Dart saying the right thing. Russell Wilson is, I'm hearing all the outside stuff. Russell's not going to be a backup quarterback. Why not? Why not? He's a pro. He's a pro's pro. You can hear by how he conducts himself in all the interviews that he's going to be a pro in this situation. And it's good to have not only one, but two, guys that started around the league as backups to help this young kid, move along. Because at the end of the day, what I know from rookies is that rookies make mistakes. I was called by Greg Williams, myself, and Malcolm Jenkins. We were called dumb rookies. And it wasn't that we weren't smart, it's just that we didn't know. We did things that you just don't know.
All rookies in some way, shape, or form are dumb.
So the dumb rookies playing Jaxson Dart, nothing to take away from him, but there's a lot of things that he has to learn, and he has two guys behind him that can teach him things, and that has been teaching him things since he's been here.
Yeah, look, I was not shocked. If you would have heard me on Monday, I basically said at the end of the show, if they did it, I understood if they would do it.
Yeah.
I'm also not going to go back on what I said all summer. I think ideally the rookie quarterback sits for a longer period of time to sit and learn. But we also talked about how you were going to potentially face a spot here to start the season with the schedule where the season does not start well and there's going to be a lot of pressure and you're going to want to get some type of spark in there if the season's not going well before it completely slips away. And at 0-3, you lose a few more games, your season's going to be completely slipped away. So I understand why you did this. You've had 2 games where you haven't scored more than 10 points. Obviously, you need more points out of the offense. You want to get a spark. And I know Lance made this point on Tuesday. I'm just going to reiterate it. Do not expect the rookie quarterback to step in here and be a savior for you.
Right.
And Brian Daboll made this point at the podium yesterday. This is not about one guy, right? He needs help from his offensive line. He needs help from his wide receivers. He needs help from his running backs. He needs help from his defense. It's very hard for young quarterbacks to play well right away in the National Football League. Look at Cam Ward the first 3 games. He's had some wow throws. He's also had a lot of scratch-your-head type of moments. That was the first overall pick in the draft.
Yeah.
J.J. McCarthy, he got to sat and watch all year last year. The first 8 quarters this year, he played 1 good quarter of football.
Right.
The other 7 quarters were not good. Michael Penix is on to start 7 or 8 for him?
Rough start this year for him.
It does not look good for him this year.
Yep.
C.J. Stroud, first year in the league. Everything went right. It looked great. How have the last 20 games looked for C.J. Stroud?
Right.
They've not looked good.
Yep.
So it is hard for young quarterbacks. Just look at Bryce Young, another guy, right? These are all guys. I'm picking guys that were picked in the top 5 quarterback-wise the last couple of years. Now, Caleb Williams, he's had his struggles. What did last year look like for Caleb Williams? Very up and down. You see the flashes, but again, there are issues. There's still issues. I still think he's going to be great, but again, it takes time for young guys. Not everyone's Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, but even him, sophomore year is not as easy going as it was his rookie year.
And neither is Bo Nix's.
Yeah, right.
For that matter, right?
Right.
So just keep in mind, there's going to be rough spots. You're going to have to live with some growing pains. It's not going to be sunshine and roses and easy breezy, fun 30 points a game right away. You hope he gets there, but there's going to be some rough sledding early on. Just be ready for it.
And he's not stepping into a team that's playoff ready, just need a quarterback.
Yeah.
Right? This team has a lot of struggles away from the quarterback position, away from offense. They have struggles on defense. They have struggles on special teams. The Giants have to get better all around to not only help this quarterback, but to help the team win games.
Yeah, look, this has nothing to do about Jaxson Dart, guys. I would say this no matter who the Giants drafted and playing as a rookie quarterback this year. That's just what rookie quarterbacks are.
Yeah.
And he improved throughout the summer. He looked pretty good in training camp. He made plays in the preseason games. And like I also said over the summer, no one's going to know when he's ready besides his coaching staff.
But
Those
no
are the
one's
guys truly
ready. You know what I mean? No one's truly ready as a rookie.
And Brian Dable said this yesterday. No one's truly ready to go in there. Bill Polian said that when he joined us over the summer, I think it was on Big Blue Kickoff. It might have been the Giants. I don't remember. But he said, look, no quarterback's ready to play.
No.
You only get ready to play, to your point from your first answer, JC, from going out there, doing it, making the mistakes, and learning from it.
Yep, that's it. It's like having a kid for the first time. It's like no matter how many books, what to expect when expecting, all of those, no matter how many times you babysitted your niece and nephew, right? You're never really ready to be a father or a mom until you have a kid. And then, all right, cool, this is it. This is it for Jaxson Dart. Is he ready? I mean, at this point, no one really cares. It doesn't really matter. He's out there. And to help this guy along, you need a good, strong running game. You need receivers to catch the ball, right? The tight end has to be here. Like he has to make himself available, has to catch the ball, have to be able to call good plays, especially in the red zone. The Giants have been struggling mightily this year in the red zone. And then defense. The defense needs to go ahead and be Jaxson Dart's best friend. Go ahead and get him some extra possessions by creating takeaways, creating short fields, winning the possession battle, getting 3 and outs on defense. And this is going to be a tall task to ask against this offense this week with this very talented quarterback in Justin Herbert. And look, I think they revitalized the culture over there in LA and what they're doing with Jim Harbaugh. Is it Jim or John?
This is Jim.
John
is Baltimore.
John is Baltimore, right?
Jim. And do you know, honestly, what I had to do to remind myself? I had to think back, and now you were too young for this. I had to think back to when I was playing like Tecmo Super Bowl back in 1993.
And one of them was in the game.
And Jim Harbaugh was the quarterback for the Colts.
Right.
And that's, I am being dead serious, folks.
That's how you do it.
That's how I remember.
Yeah. That's it. Well, I mean, we had the whole thing with Devin and Jason McCourty. I didn't know the difference between them until I played with one for multiple games, even though I've known them for 20 years. But that's how it is. So Jim Harbaugh, I think he's done a great job in building culture here for this team, and this is a team that has struggled with a talented roster in the past. And I think they're now figuring out the way they need to win games and what that looks like for them. So the Giants are facing one of the better teams that killed Kansas City in week 1. The game, it looked close with the number-wise, but they pretty much did what they wanted to do against the Chiefs.
Yeah, absolutely. So now let's talk specifically about the Chargers. We know the type of defense that they play, and it's going to look somewhat similar, maybe not as many simulated blitzes and stuff like that Spags do with the Giants, but the Chargers play a ton of too high, a lot of cover 2, a lot of quarters. They also play a fair amount of cover 3. They play the 5th lowest rate of man-to-man defense in the league. They just don't let balls get over the top on them, and they're going to play top down. They're not going to blitz a ton. And
maybe, because when you get a rookie in there,
it's a good point.
Things get switched up sometimes.
It's a good point. So why don't we start there?
Yep.
How much different do you think this might look from the Chargers defense based on their tendencies because they're playing a rookie? That's a great point.
Well, I don't know, because you got a new rookie. You got a rookie coming in, and you just treat rookie quarterbacks a little bit different, right? You would say, all right, let's go back and just let them sit back in coverage and cover 2, cover 4, cover 6 and something and allow, our defensive guys, the front 4, to get after them and force him to do checkdowns. Or you blitz him and you see if he can hold up, right? Last week, the Chiefs, going into last week's game, they were the number 1 or, a top tier blitzing percentage defense with Spagnuolo, and they played 2 high safeties the whole entire game, but that was against Russell Wilson. I don't know the game plan going in against a rookie. I do know, though, if they weren't planning on blitzing with Russell Wilson, they're at least going to throw something at this rookie, because that's what you need to do. You need to try to fluster a rookie. You need to go ahead and try to make him make quicker decisions, because we talked about this before. Rookies are dumb. They don't make the greatest decisions. This kid, Jaxson Dart, though, I love the way he handled the press conference. I love the way he's been kind of, I want to say in the shadow of Russell, because the camera does find him during the game. Schmeelk, I don't know if you pay attention. Even when he hasn't played, the camera does find him.
Oh, they always do that.
Yeah.
The first mistake Jaxson Dart makes, they're going to show Russell Wilson on the
for
sideline.
sure. 100%. It's
that's just the way it goes.
It's so funny watching the NFL. I was watching the game the other night. What game was I watching? on one of the D tackles, Miami game, one of the D tackles made a really bad penalty. They kept on showing this dude for the next 5 minutes when he was on the sideline.
On college or
when
pros?
the offense was out. No, Miami Dolphins.
Dolphins, okay.
When it was number 92, I forgot his name. It was like Silver or something like that.
Seiler. Who's actually a really good player. He committed the was it the roughing the kicker, roughing the punter penalty, right?
And
That's
did
what
you
it was.
see how many times they put him on camera? Like, come on, guys, leave him alone, guys. This 3 minutes later, 5 minutes later, but that's what they do. But I just love how he's handled that, being a young guy. I think he's saying the right things. Now he's got to go play football. Something that if you watch him play at Ole Miss, he has fun playing the game of football.
Oh, yeah.
He's very entertaining. I just hope, really do, that he learned how to slide.
You took the
because
words out
the
of my
one
mouth,
play
bro.
that he had in preseason where he literally decided to say, I'm not running out of bounds. I'm going to run into this defender.
Dude,
that's not okay here.
Derwin James will murder his butt.
Yes. That's
He
not
won't
okay
murder him.
anywhere in the NFL unless you have built up some credit like Patrick Mahomes to where you've slid, I don't know, 7 dozen
And by
times.
the way, you better slide early.
Yes.
You better slide early.
Because a guy like Mahomes, and we've talked about going into last week, how he's been running over guys. You know why? Because there's indecision as a defender because you know Mahomes slides. You know that he slides. But if you don't know, or if you're not sure, or if you've seen it from the past, like Daniel Jones, I love Daniel Jones. I love his fearlessness. But if you don't slide, defenders know that in their head, and they're not going to ease up on him. They're going to hit you with all the force, like they're tackling your starting running back. And we can't do that here, Jaxson Dart.
Yes. I knew where you're going with that. So let me go this way then. To me, when you're playing a team like the Chargers with the way they play, and again, maybe they're going to shift the way they play based on having a rookie quarterback and all that stuff. If you want to have success in this game, JC, you have to run the football.
Yes.
You have to run it well because they are not. They play light boxes. They're not going to put extra guys up there. Now, to their credit, they've played the run well this year, even with those light boxes. But Tyron Tracy's not going to play. Luckily, talked to him yesterday. It looks like it's only going to be a short-term thing for him. They popped it back in, and there's not a lot of structural damage, which is great.
Dislocated joint.
Yeah. So I think you feel pretty good about it. But you're going to have to run the ball here, and I do wonder if part of the biggest impact Jaxson Dart might have is just him as a decoy in some of that read option stuff, right? Where teams have to dedicate that extra defender to him on, the show and the read before he either takes it or run or hands it off. And maybe that'll give a little bit of help to the running game to try to create a little bit more space. Again, I'm not sure I love him as a carrier for more than a handful of times over the course of the game, but maybe you can at least get a defender. If you're playing a light box, if one defender has to account for the quarterback, maybe that'll give Scatterboo and Singletary some more room to run the football.
And I agree with you, but not as a decoy. You said he'll open up some space as a decoy. No, he'll open up a space as a runner because once they understand that he is a threat to run the football, now that's where you have the hesitation as defenders.
See, I think they've established that already, though, because I think
he came in basically to run the football.
Correct.
Right, and run
Since
packages.
they've done that the first couple weeks, my guess is that if I know Jim Harbaugh and his defensive coordinator, who was with him in college, really good coach, they're going to be pounding that into their guys already because, right, in the packages that the Giants put together for Jaxson Dart, that's what the package was. He didn't go in there to, he had one pass last week that he ended up having to run it because he got blitzed.
How many total plays Jaxson Dart played? Like 6 already this season? It was like, I know it was like 5 or 6.
Might be up to like 8 or 9 now, right?
Really? Was that many? Oh, because he had multiple snaps in a row last week.
2 series, 1 game, and 1 series another. So I think he got to 8 or 9. I have to check that. But look.
But 90% of those was run plays. So you have a point there.
Jesse Minter's a really good coach. He's an excellent defensive coordinator. So I wonder how much they have to establish him as a runner or if that's already in the Chargers' heads because of what the Giants have already done.
It is in their head already. It is for sure. But what you don't want to do is make him a decoy early. You want to be able to use him in the run game, because when you're going against teams, and this is not even RPO stuff, this is just regular zone read where there's not a pass option, right? You have to have somebody assigned to the dive, which is when they hand the ball off to the running back, and then you have to have somebody for the quarterback pull, right? This is the thing. When you play teams that run zone read with a non-running quarterback, there's no one that they'll literally leave the quarterback alone, and that fake doesn't mean anything. But like you said, and what the Giants have shown as Jaxson Dart getting in the RPO, the zone read game. So they will have people I think, accounting for him, which will make guys a little bit lighter in the box against the dive, against the handoff to the running back. So you definitely have a point there, Schmeelk.
Yeah, so we'll see how they handle it. He's good, just because I know Jaxson Dart and how he is. He's going to keep it on one of these early plays because he's going to want to make a play.
Yeah.
And I mean, funny.
The read would tell him to keep it as well.
Is Todd Haley up yet, Pearson? Is that up yet? On not yet. So I interviewed Todd Haley, longtime NFL. He was head coach of the Chiefs with Matt Castle when he was the quarterback, and he was a longtime offensive coach for a lot of different teams, including the Steelers. And I asked him because he had Baker Mayfield when Baker was a rookie, right? And Tyrod Taylor got hurt after week 2. And they put Baker in week 3. And I asked him how you manage like the motions of the game for a rookie quarterback, right? And he goes, well, it depends on the guy. Like I had Matt Castle, and he's a guy that I felt he played better when he was a little fired up, so I tried to piss him off before the game. Yeah. Baker, on the other hand, is a guy that he was a maniac, and you had to pull him back and calm him down. I'm going to guess that Jackson's somebody you're going to have to calm down a little bit based on this. Do you get that sense too?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
So I do wonder how they're going to try to manage that a little bit where, all right, the first drop back, you don't have to make the 18-yard dig, in between 3 defenders into the middle of the field and try to make an explosive play on play 1. The check down's okay. Yes. So, to me, I think that's something I'm going to keep an eye on, too. Is he willing to get to that check down, just make the easy play? Because, the competitor in Jaxson Dart, again, this isn't a negative. Because I'd rather have a quarterback you have to pull back than to try to get to be aggressive. Can you just make sure that, all right, take the easy play?
Yeah.
It's okay.
It's a such thing as like happy ignorance, too. Like, he doesn't understand how fast those safeties can jump those routes, how fast those corners out.
Again, I'm going to mention Derwin James again.
So he's going to throw it. Like you said, he's not. He's going to throw it. He's going to think it's there. And the thing is, it might get there. It might get there.
Sure.
But that's the thing. You're not going to get a guy who's gun shy. You know what I mean? Like
which again, I like.
Right. He's going to go out there and throw that ball around. He's going to make mistakes. I think he's going to, he's going to go in. Like, this is why I'm excited. Because we don't know exactly what we're gonna get, but we're gonna get,
and that's the fun part of this, right?
That is fun, and like people saying the Giants' new toy. Yes, he is a new toy. He's a first-round draft pick, number 1, who had a lot of success in the SEC against a lot of these defenders that you see.
Absolutely,
and very competitive. Like, he's a guy that took hits against Georgia, came back and, was competitive in that game. He's a guy that has showed so much mental and physical toughness.
There's no question about that.
I want to turn down the physical toughness a little bit. He don't need to be that tough trying to challenge linebackers. But for me, I want to go out. I want to make sure he goes out there and shows the mental toughness. Yeah. Let's say he does throw the interception early. Don't get gun-shy. Throw that ball again.
No, I'm with you
know what I mean?
That,
like, I want to see that.
I don't worry about that with him. I think he'll be okay with that.
Yeah, I think so too. Like I said, I'm excited because you really don't know what you're going to get from him. But I do think, and no offense to Russell hasn't layered the ball well and fit in windows in a very long time.
Well, and again, I think that's to do with his height too, right? It's just harder when you're a shorter quarterback to layer the ball in the middle of the field. Yep. It's a hard thing to do. It's just physics, right? You got to get it over and under.
But then also you become accustomed to playing a certain way, which you have success with. Mm-hmm. And like last week, the Chiefs took that away from the Giants.
They did.
The Chiefs took that away, and then he basically missed a couple deep balls. A couple ended up in interceptions where he didn't hit neighbors because when all things fail, right, even the Dallas game, when all things fail, just throw the ball up. But this is the thing. This is the reason why I feel like the Giants have struggled in the red zone. You can't throw deep balls in the red zone, especially when you're in a tight red.
You're 100%
It doesn't even exist.
And I think that's where we might see the biggest impact of Jaxson Dart here is in the Giants' red zone offense.
He's played in the red zone basically so far.
And the Giants' offense in the red zone has been abysmal so far this year. It's been bad.
So you got to run the football.
Right. And I think the quarterback's mobility helps there. I think more size from Dart will help there a little bit too. So I'm with you on that. I think that could be a big factor in this game. The other thing I'll throw out there is just generally, I would expect get the ball out quick. I would expect a bunch of RPOs. I would expect screen passes, those little go routes down the sideline, which Dart showed he was really good at.
A little bit earlier in the game.
Yes. Look, I will give the Chiefs credit, and I said this on the show on Monday. The Chiefs were putting a lot of defenders over there.
I mean, why not?
I mean, I would too. But maybe in the first series you run a screen for him.
Yeah. Or a reverse or something. We've done that in the past with Malik.
Correct.
Yeah.
So, I'm with you. I think you get the ball to him early in this game, get him going. And look, you want to build the chemistry with those two guys because remember, Jaxson got a lot of work, decent amount of work, I would say, with the ones in the spring. Mm-hmm. he got a decent amount. In the summer, it was really limited.
Yeah.
Guess what? Malik didn't do anything in the spring.
Right.
All right?
And he missed practice yesterday, too.
Correct.
Yeah.
So let's get those guys rolling, and I'm sure they're doing extra work after practice to get that going and everything.
Healthy. Is he available today at practice?
We have looked that up, Pearson. See if anyone has tweeted out yet. If when Dable did his drive-by,
it's interesting because they're practicing right now. It's interesting doing this show during practice because it's like we really don't know, and then there's other people out there that know because.
Well, and again, we aren't permitted to report what's happening in practice during the regular season anyway. So, which is why we scheduled the show this way.
Who's available though? We could do that.
Well, yes, but exactly. Yeah, well, and Dable should have told the media today he was going to practice.
Dan Salamo and Brian Dable said Malik Neighbors' shoulder will practice.
There we go.
Okay, good.
So
that's something that it's good. You know, because at the end of the day, you know, I truly believe, and I heard Levante Davis say this not too long ago on a podcast, you need practice, bro. You need practice. You know, as a person like me, I didn't like practice. You know what I mean? I loved it and hated it at the same time. You know what I mean? Like, I felt like I got paid to practice, you know, but you have to practice. You have to practice full speed. You have to practice to see things a certain way. You have to practice to get your feet work right. You have to practice to to knock the rust off. Practice is so necessary, and having the right people there while you're practicing is very important as well.
All right, 201-939-4513. We could break this thing down a million different ways. Paul and Matt will have a full preview tomorrow. They'll handle that, no problem. But let's get to your calls. But first, I want to remind everybody that coming up this Sunday, we've been talking about, I feel like for like a month and a half now, Pearson, we have the ultimate New York Giants Women's Tailgate presented by Joe Malone. The ticketed event will take place this Sunday from 10 a.m. to noon in Lot G before Giants and Chargers. Attendees will have the opportunity to connect and hang out and meet Madeline Burke, one of our team reporters. She'll be the tailgate host. Giant legends will be there as well. There'll be a curated merchandise shop, exclusive Kendra Scott activation, tailgate games, giveaways, photos, live DJ, and a whole lot more. Tailgate, food, and one drink ticket are included with the ticket purchase. It is a ticketed event, folks. Tailgate is 21 years of age and older only. All right, let's get to it.
And I will be there as well. Sorry.
Whoa, JC is going to be there?
Yeah, I'll be at the tailgate.
No wonder it's 21 years of age and older only.
We're doing like a breakfast earlier.
You never know what's going to happen with Jonathan Casillas in somewhere.
This is true, especially when I'm not working, right? You know, I'm not working. Yeah, I can have some fun before the game.
Remember, 10 a.m.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Okay.
I'll be there. 10:01 maybe.
All right. I got to bust your balls. You know that. Let's go to Nico in Connecticut. He's up first. Nico, what's going on then?
What's going on, guys?
We're good.
Hey, so a couple things. I just want to say, Scat's the man. I mean, he's gonna be the one for us. But here's my big problem: is if you look back at Micah Parsons in his first 6 games, he had, I think, 2.5 sacks, maybe 22 solo tackles, something like that. The only reason I bring him up is because Abdul Carter has been compared to him more times than I can count. And, I mean, through the first 3 games, half a sack. I mean, what is going on? Is Shane Bowen to blame? Like, what's going on?
Well, I mean, if Micah Parsons had how many sacks in his first 6 games? 1.5?
2.5.
2.5.
All right, so all he needs to get is
in 3 games. Got 3 games left.
He's got 3 games left to get there. I mean, it isn't exactly he's on pace for 1.5 instead of whatever. I mean, I wouldn't get too riled up about the sack number, Nico. The issue you ran into last week is that the Giants were and we should have talked about this more on Monday's show. I didn't get to it. The Giants were so shorthanded on defense on Sunday at linebacker because Darius Musow didn't play. Micah McFadden's out long term, JC, and I know you noticed this too. They had to play Abdul Carter as an off-ball linebacker.
Yep.
And Shane Bowen talked about it today, and he said, look, we basically had to, use him there because we had to, but look, they want to use him as a pass rusher. I mean, I went and I looked at it right before the show started, Nico, just to give you an idea. Let me see if I can bring this up. Do I have it ready in front of me?
And I can speak to that real quick.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Because I saw him playing a lot off the ball, and I understood right when I saw him, I was like, well, I mean, they don't really got nobody else there to play that position, and they want to get him on the field. This is the thing, though. Carter's been playing on the ball, and that's why he was drafted number 3 pick overall, because of his on-the-ball presence. He has showed in the past when he was at Penn State that he was an off-the-ball linebacker, and he had some success there. But
you don't want him there.
Right. He did get drafted number 3 for his pass rushing ability.
I'll give you, this is a perfect example, Nico, and then you can continue. Week 1, playing on the line of scrimmage, he had 34 snaps against Washington. Week 2, and again, he would have played more, but the no-huddle offense didn't allow substitutions the way they wanted. Week 2, he played 61 snaps on the line of scrimmage against Dallas. Week 3, 13. And that's because he played 43 snaps off the ball. He only played 9 against Dallas, 6 against Washington. So his role changed last week. My guess is that they're going to try to want to get him on the edge a little bit more and on the line of scrimmage a little more in this game, getting after the quarterback, Nico. So I think you'll get your wish.
He's good off the ball. He's great on the ball.
Correct.
He's great on the ball.
100%.
Yeah.
I totally agree with that. I was in Dallas. I went to that game. That was my first ever NFL game. Talk about an experience to see Russell.
Oh, wow. That must have been great. That must have been fun, man.
Yeah, for sure.
It was great.
Except for the end.
I was surrounded by all those Cowboys fans. They hated me. I was loud and proud.
There you go.
But, Carter looked great in that game. But don't you think that we should maybe put him in a position where he can be great and not just good?
Yeah.
But it happens, bro. Like,
and appreciate it, Nico.
when guys go down, it happens. It was times where we went into the game with 4 linebackers, 2 get hurt. We have 2 linebackers. How do you play a football game with 2 linebackers, Schmeelk? You know what I mean? You have to grab somebody from another position and move them. It just happens that way. And look, he has experience at that position. Until they find somebody to be better than him at middle linebacker, that's probably going to be his spot until they say, all right, we're more comfortable with this guy playing.
Yeah, to me, and again, I don't think they're like, we get to put Abdul Carter as an off-ball linebacker. Right. I think it's like, oh, man, I guess we have to put Abdul Carter as an off-ball linebacker. And again, you lost a bunch of guys due to injury. It happens, right?
It does happen. But this is the NFL. This is literally what happens.
When he and I'm sure you've seen this with teammates before in the past, and they've been asked to do something that they can do, but it's not their strength because that's what the team needs.
Yeah. I mean, look, let me put this in perspective, right? My rookie year, right? I came in as a weak side linebacker. I was 225 pounds, Schmeelk. I'm not anything else but a will, maybe even a safety, right? Mm-hmm. So I come in and Joe Vitt, my linebacker coach, he says, JC, I don't want you looking at nothing else but the will. Right? Nothing else. I'm like, all right, cool. So I'm locked in at the wheel for 3 days, looking at the wheel, not looking at Mike, not looking at Sam.
This is like in the spring.
This is training camp.
Training camp, okay.
This is training camp. This is right before the season started. So he comes to me, he was like, all right, JC, I want you in at Sam right now. I'm like, bro, what? I was like, what? I had no idea what I was doing.
And by the way, and that's still an off-ball linebacker position.
Right.
So it's an even smaller change than what we're talking about with Abdul.
What I'm saying is you got to be prepared.
Correct.
You just don't know because guys get hurt, guys don't practice, and this is at practice, so this is not during the game. If they're, on the fence about playing, everybody plays when they're on the fence. You're going to play on the weekend, but the thing is you might not practice. So they have to get reps. You have to be prepared to play different things. That's why the versatility that Abdul Carter has makes it better for Shane Bowen, so they don't have to bring in a linebacker off the street to bring him in and fill a roster spot, and they're unproven commodity. At least they have a guy who, he's definitely a number 3 draft pick for the Giants because of his pass rushing abilities, but he has at least 1 full year, maybe 2 full years of experience playing linebacker at Penn State off the ball.
Yep.
So it's not like he's never done it before, and it will take time because that position requires you to think a lot more than on being on the ball and rushing. And I think it's good experience for him, but I would like to see him definitely more on the ball. And I don't know, because I'm always a guy, and I used to curse Spags out all the time because I'm always – we talked about this when I first jumped on. I always like a 2 linebacker defense instead of a 1 linebacker defense, right? Instead of pitting a nickel in, I'd rather have a linebacker there instead of a nickel. But that's just me. That's my preference. I'm very biased. I played linebacker my whole career. But having Abdul Carter gain that experience as the off-the-ball linebacker, I think is vital for him because it'll make him a smarter player as well.
No, I'm with you on that 100%. 201-939-4513. But again, guys, I think they're going to get him in a pass rushing situation as much as they possibly can.
And you could send them on blitzes from the middle linebacker spot too. There's no reason you can't do that.
And Shane Bowen basically just said that today. I mean, they know what they have. They're going to try to use him as a pass rusher. But it's good to know that in a case of need, on an early down, you have him as an off-ball guy if you need him there. All right, let's go to Coach Marvin in Delaware. He's up next. Hi, Coach.
How you doing, John and John? Today?
What's up, Coach? What do you got, Coach?
How y'all doing? A little nervous about the game coming up with Dart. I'm hoping he does well. I think he can bring that electricity to the team the way they act in the preseason, even though it's a preseason game. I thought it electrified the stadium and electrified the team, and hopefully it's that same energy. The only thing I ask him to do is don't play to the crowd. Just go play the game.
Well, Coach,
Play
I
by
will say
play.
this. You bring energy and you get the stadium pumped up by moving the ball and scoring points. You can have all the personality and swag and all that other stuff that you want. The only thing that's going to pump up that crowd is scoring some touchdowns.
That's all they care about.
That's what you need to do.
I agree with that. That's why I said that he doesn't have to use that energy to play, because sometimes you can play outside yourself when you get caught up in the crowd. I'm saying when they walk on that field, it's going to be energized. The team's going to be energized, and he's going to be energized until they start playing. And that's why I say once he starts playing, play within yourself. Don't get caught up in the rah-rah, and help yourself not to make mistakes. Take it play by play.
Yep.
The other thing I was calling about was a whole week I was listening to everybody, and I can understand why they're frustrated. And we've been going through this for a full decade pretty much. But I just like them to tone it a little down, because they were talking about Daboll. And Daboll, if I'm correct, he was at Alabama, right?
Yep.
He was in New England.
Yep.
And he was in Buffalo.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, and he also
he's been around.
he had a pit stop in Cleveland in there. I think he had a pit stop
Uh-huh.
in Kansas City maybe too. I got to double check that.
Okay. So when I hear people say this guy can't coach, I'm like, how are you getting all these jobs with these teams?
Yeah.
This guy can coach, and I believe in Daboll. He's under some stress right now, but the guy can coach, and to say he can't coach, and hey, I appreciate all the callers. I appreciate when they mention my name. It was one he said early this week. I don't know if you were there, John. He said that teaching Josh Allen that Wilson and myself and Charlie could coach Josh Allen. And I just want to let him know, no, I can't.
And Coach, by the way, I would be a little offended that you got put into the same sentence as Wilson and Charlie. Just saying.
He knew who I was, so I appreciate that.
That's something.
And Charlie, they could be over the top. Some of the stuff they say, it has some facts to it. I don't discredit them. It's just the tone that they put it in.
No, of course.
It's a little over the top for me. But the only thing, the last part I had is what I am concerned about, and it's just me. It doesn't mean I'm right. I'm not saying I'm right. It's just my style of coaching because of how the team is disciplined. And in the beginning of discipline, you have to set that tone as a coach. And I think sometimes I feel, this is my feeling, that Daboll gets a little too friendly with them. They were showing them on Hard Knocks when Dexter Lawrence called them, and I understand it. I get calls from my players, but they're my ex-players, and they was talking, and I love that guy, and that was warm to my heart. But you when you're coaching them, it's a totally different attitude, because in the discipline, for me, in my military background, you don't want to disappoint the coach, and in the military, you don't want to disappoint. The people in the service understand, especially the Army, first, what the sergeant we call Top.
Yep.
And Top was a no-nonsense person. He didn't take no excuses. So what happens is, once you have those people waiting for you on the sideline, you don't want to disappoint them to where they're getting on you. So your concentration is a little different. That's how I see it. And coaching the kids I coached, they already knew in the beginning that was something I never put up with, was penalties. They happen. I understand that. But they're going to get ridiculed. I'm going to get on them, especially if they a repeated offender. If you did it once, I may be like, hey, you got to listen to the count. What was the count on? Ask them what was the count.
Yeah.
And say, well, all right, that's simple. But if you're a repeated offender, and I make sure the team knew that I was going to be waiting for them on mistakes that they made. Because I had a standard for them. If you're a performer, I want A performance every time you're on the field.
Coach, totally.
If you're a C performance, I want C performance or better.
Coach, totally understand where you're coming from. Appreciate the call. I'm happy we learned something about Coach Marvin today.
Yeah, military background.
He is a no-nonsense coach.
Yeah,
very
sure.
nice to meet her on the calls, but he is very. I appreciate that.
And subtle.
Oh yeah, but it sounds like It sounds like you don't want to get on his bad side on the
For
football field.
sure.
So it's a good question. So I want to go to you, the player. What did you want from a coach as a player? And my second part of this question, what do you think you needed from a coach as a player? Because a lot of times those can be different things.
Yeah. See, this is the thing when you get to the NFL, right? These young guys coming in, there's a lot of second-year players that's playing a lot of football for the Giants, and of course rookies are playing too. You get a little bit more handheld in college. You know, they hold your hand a little bit.
Especially now when a player can enter the transfer portal every 5 minutes and leave the program.
And not to say accountability doesn't exist, because that's not true at all. But in the NFL, like, they don't baby you. They don't hold your hand. They expect you to be accountable. They expect you to be available and to be accountable. Of course, availability, that's a week-to-week thing. People get hurt, blah, 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 blah. But I'm talking about when you're healthy, that you're available, being locked in the meeting rooms, knowing and understanding your assignment and doing your assignment, and then being accountable, right? Not making the same mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes in the NFL, no matter how many years you have. But I just think that there's not too much teaching of fundamentals that go on in the NFL, because they expect you to kind of know these things. So I get real kind of like people saying developing players and developing stuff like that. People get better when they're in the NFL, because that's what you have to do, because you cannot compete if you're not accountable, if you're not available, if you don't understand the game of football. And it's just on a different level when you get here. These are professionals. These are the best players in the world. There's not another professional league out there that can compete with the NFL.
But can you ride your players and provide that level of, I'll use the word discipline. I don't think it's necessarily the correct word to use in this situation, but you guys know what I'm saying. If you are also friendly with them, can you do both? Like, can you hug them? Can you hug them today and then slap them on the wrist with the ruler tomorrow?
If that's your personality, then
right?
you can.
I think so too.
Campbell from the Lions. You see how fiery he is? He's definitely friendly to guys, but he's probably a guy that curses some guys out on a consistent basis.
For sure.
But you have to be consistent with that.
And I think Parcells is that way too, right? Like, he'll put his arm around
he's always going to joke with you, but he's going to get on you. He's going to be the first person to get on you.
Correct.
Yeah, but I love hard coaching. Like, and I always use my mom, because my mom raised me. My mom cursed a lot, like when I was younger, but like I never questioned. You know what I mean? Like her thoughts, I never questioned her love. Like I never questioned her compassion. That was just how she was. My daughter heard my mom yelling at me like a couple weeks ago on the phone. She was like, Mom, Grandma yells like that? I was like, Jade, yes. Like, I didn't have people over my house for like 17 years. She was kicking everybody out. But like, it's not about the message. It's not how they say it. At this level, you have to be able to receive coaching. Whether it's soft, whether it's aggressive, whether it's passive, whatever it is, you have to be able to receive coaching. The players are accountable. And people, all the outside world. And listen, this is New York. I was here when Foster was here, of course, when Coughlin got, here. When Coughlin won a Super Bowl 07, he was on the hot seat.
Yes.
Everyone
wanted him fired after that Vikings debacle.
That's how it is here.
Yep.
For me, it's not on the coaches. It's on the players. That's why when we come in here and everybody's like, oh, Dayball, I watch, Sports Center, I watch ESPN, I watch the shows. I'm on Instagram, I'm watching all of this stuff. Everybody keep calling for Dayball. I'm sorry, Dayball has not made a tackle in the NFL. He's not throwing a football.
Are you with Wilson while you're watching all those different shows and everything like that?
No, stay away from Wilson. I don't want that biased. Whatever he has, he's an interesting character. But I put it a lot on the players, and it's hard to do it with younger players.
Yeah.
But there's older players in every single room. There's experience in every single room, and I think the players should hold people accountable, not the coaches.
201-939-4513. Let's go to Coach Kevin in Arizona. Coach Squared. What's up, Coach?
Hey, guys. How you doing?
We're good. What do you got?
Hey, great show this morning. I agree with a lot of things you guys are saying about coaching and everything else. Of course, I would know that. I just wanted to say I hope that the coaching staff does not get too conservative in this game and let Jaxson be Jaxson. Let him do what he can do. Don't hold him back. I think the worst thing you can do with a young quarterback is be so conservative that he becomes predictable.
And I don't get the sense, Coach, that that's something Dable will do. I think he wants Jaxson to be himself. I don't think that's going to be an issue, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I just that was my one concern. Don't don't cramp him up just because this is his first game.
I agree.
Let him play.
Going live.
Let him play.
Go. Yeah, let him go. The kid's got talent. Let him show it. Let him make mistakes. It's okay. And I think that's the best way to go. You know, we had a kid like that here in high school in Arizona at Casa Grande here, and I'll tell you, now he's starting quarterback for Central Michigan. And Angel was we didn't know. He was just a freshman kid when he first came in. Starting varsity as freshman, took the team to the state championship 3 years later. So great kid. So, and he got his chance to play now with a Division I school, and he's doing great. So I just think don't hammer these kids. Let them learn on the job. And I think all your comments earlier. Look, he played against the best in the SEC. I mean, that's a great test. I see him more like blossoming into maybe another Jaden Daniels type player. With the elusiveness, I see him more like that in that mold, not like some of the other quarterbacks that you can compare him to. I really do see him being more dynamic out there for a young guy because he's played against the best, and he just has this moxie about him. I see something in him. I think people are going to be surprised. I disagree with a lot of these commentators around the country on the NFL Network that are saying now he's going to suck. It's a terrible decision. I disagree totally.
Now, Kevin, look, I will say this. I don't think he isn't the same level of athlete that Jaden Daniels is. He doesn't have that raw, speed
I know
that he does.
I'm not saying that, but he has that moxie.
No, he does have moxie. I agree with that. Hey, Coach, out of curiosity, I don't think we ever had this conversation. You coach high school down in Arizona? Is that what you do?
Yeah, I did. I retired now.
Ah, okay. So you much like Coach Marvin are both retired high school coaches.
Yeah. I'm the one I called last week. Remember,
oh,
John, we were talking about, we hope we see the screen game.
Yeah. I was just curious on your background, Coach. That's it. I appreciate it, man.
Oh, okay. Yeah, thank you. That's all I had to say. I just wanted to say, please don't put him in a box. Let him go.
No,
Coach, I see something special in him.
Coach, you make great points, and appreciate you calling in. I think they're going to let him play. Now, might they have to pull him back if things get a little wild?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
But I don't think they want to. And Dable was asked this over the summer a few different times, and he's been very clear that you don't want to throw water on that competitive fire. You know what I mean?
Not at all.
You want if that's who Jaxson is and that's who he is, let him be him. Let him go out there and do it. Now again, make sure he's not trying to run over 270-pound, defensive ends.
Away from that, please.
Make sure he's not throwing it at the team meetings left and right. Like, that's stuff that can hurt him or lose games for you.
Yeah.
But beyond that, let the kid go out there and play.
Let him play. And I think he has first of all, I think he has a great personality that fits into the locker room, right? I think bringing Russell in, Russell has kind of his own special personality that, I think it fits, and the Giants needed Russell. Like, I don't question that. I think the Giants needed Russell because there was inexperience at that position because there was only Tommy DeVito here, right, before they got Russell and Jameis. And this is before Jaxson Dart was drafted. So I think they went ahead and got two guys who are proven commodities in the NFL to help with overall leadership and morale on the offense, because offensively the Giants have struggled in years past, and they needed somebody like a Russell, a Super Bowl champion, like a Jameis, a God-fearing guy that never ever hesitates to instill something in his other guys. And I think they're continuously doing that as well, and that's not going to stop because Jaxson Dart's there. So for me, as long as those guys are there and have Jaxson Dart's back, because again, I'm not putting too much on the coaches, because at the end of the day, when the ball gets kicked off at 1 p.m. on Sunday, not one coach is making one play during the game. It's all on the players. And the players got to help other players come along. The other players got to help other players stay motivated, and those players got to help each other win. I'm sorry, the coaches, they put out calls, but they're not running them.
Right.
It's on the player. So people keep talking about the coaching and Shane Bowen and all of that stuff. Bobby Okereke and Dane Belton and Dexter Lawrence, those guys are the guys out there every single week that need to make plays when the number is called. And that is it. So for me, I want to go out there and see the Giants defense show up like we really haven't seen them show up this year. And I'm not talking about a couple sacks here and here. I'm talking about a disruptive game where you're causing multiple turnovers. You're flustering a young, he's not even young anymore. Herbert's
he's
young.
just a veteran.
Right, he's a veteran, talented quarterback. Yes. And you think what you saw last week from Houdini and Mahomes, this guy can do that, but he has better targets down the field. I think with a better arm than Mahomes as well, too.
I mean, Herbert might have the best arm in the league.
Right. This guy's special, for sure.
Do you remember that throw a few years ago when the Giants played in L.A., that post throw he threw down the middle of the field? That might be the best throw I've ever seen in an NFL game. It was like 65 yards in the air. Pearson, you remember that throw, right, that he made against us?
His arm talent.
Oh, my gosh.
His arm talent is second to none.
I'm going to bring that up here. Hold on.
Since the beginning of last year, he's only thrown 4 interceptions. 3 last year and 1 this year. This kid he's understanding how to play the quarterback position, and he has, I think, the talent at wide receiver and the mindset with the head coach to have success. So the Giants got to do a good job defensively against this team. And offensively, like you said, I would like for them to establish the run game, because that's something that the Giants, even though Scatterable looked cute and everything last week and everything looked cool, but the Giants haven't been a dominant force on the ground in a very long time.
Here's the post throw. Look at that throw.
Yeah,
that
on
is,
a rope.
He got rushers in his face.
Yeah, on a rope.
He rolls to his left. This thing, he drops back to about his 30, rolls out, throws it from the 33-yard line, hits the receiver at the 3.
Yeah, it's a
Bro!
65-yard throw down the field.
Dude! Right before he's about to get laid out from behind.
Yep. And he got hit, too. He got hit. Yeah. That's what he's capable of.
That's what he's capable of. That's one of the best in-game throws I've ever seen.
But that's the thing. Like, you take away...
The fans can't see that. I'm sorry. But go search. just go to Google.
Great podcast.
I know. It's fantastic content. Just go to Google if you're listening along with us. Keep us open in one window. Open up a new browser window and go search on Google. What did I search? Hold on. I'm going to make sure I get the search parameters correct here. I search for Justin Herbert post throw against the Giants. Click on videos. It's the third one down. It is a unbelievable throw.
Absolutely.
Shut up, Pearson.
Yeah. I mean, he's an incredible talent. You know, they haven't won with him, at the helm for a while, but I think they figured it out defensively. They have Derwin James healthy. You know, he's a guy that's if he stays healthy, he's all world. He's so good at playing football.
And he's healthy right now.
Listen to his stacks. He has 26 overall tackles. He has 1 sack and 5 TFLs and 2 pass defense in 3 games. 5 TFLs is crazy for a safety.
I talked to Devin Singletary about him today. His quote to me, he's everywhere.
Yeah.
That was his quote.
Yes.
He is everywhere.
He's the fastest, the strongest. Like, he's just pound for pound. He's one of the best football players in the NFL.
What's crazy to me is Keenan Allen's resurgence. Like, he goes to the Chargers and he's just back to 27-year-old Keenan Allen.
Keenan Allen, first of all, DRC told me he's one of the toughest covers in the NFL, and I was like in disbelief. He was like a guy that big that can get in and out of
change
his
directions,
breaks.
right? Yeah.
You know, that's Devontae Adams. That's those experienced, not small wide receivers that run really good routes.
It's funny. I always thought, and this was when he was a young player, and I hadn't started doing a lot of draft stuff yet, and I'm like, Keenan Allen, he's one of these, smaller slot guys. He's really elusive going back and forth. Then I looked up his height and weight, and I'm like, how does he move like that at 225 pounds?
Yep.
That's insane.
Yep.
And you're right. That's the difference with him. It's his size and strength combined with his ability to basically, put guys in a blender with his route running.
It's difficult because even if corners, right? Because a lot of corners, like you meet a lot of different corners in the NFL, right? DRC and Jack Rabbit, they were 2 different guys, right?
Very different.
But when you have a guy like Keenan Allen who can run good routes, let's say Jack Rabbit, smaller guy. Jack Rabbit, he's not going to get left by Keenan Allen. Jack Rabbit had great cover skills, but he was little. Keenan Allen is going to outplay him for the ball because he's so big. You know what I mean? Keenan Allen is an ideal possession wide receiver.
Correct.
He's not a fast guy. He's not the quickest guy, but he runs really great routes. And on some real stuff, possession receivers are quarterback's best friends.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm with you. All right, let's go back to the phones and go to, and by the way, Quentin Johnson's been awesome.
Yes.
In his 3rd year. Sometimes it takes guys some time.
Yep.
He's been great, and Ladd McConkey's good too. So they got some good players. Our offensive line is banged up, though.
He's really good.
And
Ladd is really good.
And you talk about the pass rush, JC, taking over this game. The Giants' defensive front has to win this game for them.
Yes.
This Chargers offensive line is banged up. They have Rashawn Slater already. Becton's been hurt. Trey Pipkins got banged up last week. We'll see who plays this week. But you got to get to the quarterback. That's the only way you're going to win this game. Let's go to Marcus in California. We got 2 more calls. Marcus, what's up?
Hey, what's up, guys? How you doing?
We're good, man. How are you?
I'm okay. Just wanted to give you a little crap, John, for talking me out of going to the Dallas game, man. Would have been the best game of the year I've seen in a long time. But
I know, Marcus.
talked about it?
No. Though he called and he asked if I had one game to travel and go to this year, what game would it be? And I suggested Denver because they rarely play in Denver. It's a good
You
stadium.
could do Dallas any year, right?
And you could do Dallas any year. And by the way, now you get to see Jaxson Dart, so you're welcome.
well, I'm not going to go unless we're 2-4 or better.
Oh, well, I can't help you
Yeah,
there.
don't put that stipulation on
I
it.
can't help you there, bro. I can't guarantee records.
I'm just saying, I know. That's why I was like, go early on because then it wouldn't have mattered.
All right, so then I might save you some money. You're welcome.
Now, if you want to have a good time, I'll be in New Orleans next week. That's always a good time in New Orleans.
Hey,
the football
dude,
game is a different story. I'm talking about just New Orleans.
I'm waiting for those infield suites to get done in New Orleans Stadium, and then I want to go. Because I want to be at one of those field-level suites they're building. Have you seen those?
I have not seen
Haven't,
those, no.
They're building them now, so I'll be able to check them
If you look it
out.
up on Google, just a field-level suite, so it's going to be like under the field, like you're going to be like chest level with the field surrounding the field.
Almost like
But they're
dugouts?
suites. Yeah, kind of, but they're going to be a little bit lower.
I mean, the Giants
I
got
don't know if
like
you see like those
Coaches
outdoor
Club
kitchens
suites
by the
right
pool,
behind the
something.
bench.
Let me see.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, that's kind of cool. So it's
That's
going to be
awesome. I'm waiting
so
for
it looks
those.
like those will be in the end zone based on what I'm looking at here.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah,
I
because
think that's
obviously
gonna
you
be
can't put
good.
those in the sideline because the players on the sideline are going to block your view. But you put them in the end zone.
Yeah, no, they're going to trip.
That's
They'll
pretty
fall
cool.
in there, and then we'll
Yeah,
be
That's not
I like
bad.
it.
I like it. All right, Marcus, what do you have in the game?
So,
And the
I
Giants lost it,
feel
though.
like I wanted your guys' opinion on this, that the offensive line has been playing average enough to be okay to put Dart in. I felt like that was maybe one of the major things. They're not playing good, they're not playing great, but they're not the reason we're losing. So I feel okay with putting him in. And I also wanted to ask JC, what is the deal with 2nd and 19, 3rd and 19 being an automatic pickup for the other team? Like, is it play calling? Is it the players? Is it
Second and long has
I don't-
not been a
I
good
just-
down for the Giants this year.
hasn't.
You're Marcus. You're absolutely right. Second and long has been a borderline
And that's supposed to be a
disastrous.
great.
I think third down too,
advantage
because
for the
in the
defense.
Washington game there was 3
Second's been
third
worse.
and like 15 pluses that were picked up.
Yeah, I mean, I just talked about it earlier. And listen, I'm not saying I don't care what the coaches call, but the players got to go out there and execute. You got to understand what you're seeing, what you're going against, right?
And thank you, Marcus. We got to run.
Yeah.
Like second and I mean, I don't know, man. Like it's hard to like watch them convert. Watch the Giants give up these second and longs, even third and long too.
There's been a couple of those too.
And it's really difficult. But for me, it's all on the players. Like it's on the players. The guys are out there. If everybody was where they were supposed to be at and they were just making plays, I was like, all right, okay, that's obviously the coach. But it's not like that. They're making mistakes. They're out of position, right? They're missing tackles. Not too many missed tackles, but they have done that. And for me, and this is my thing, missed opportunities. Like how many times, Adebo, that you're gonna have a ball in your hands?
No, and Bowen talked about this today. This defense has had way too many opportunities in. You can't blame the defensive coordinator.
And I'm
for
just
that.
using that one because that was very blunt, like vivid.
Look,
But you
Okereke
have
recovering
to-
the fumble, Debo on the
it's rough.
interception.
But those plays, you have to make those.
have to.
You have to make those
to.
because I'm not saying be a bend but don't break defense. I'm not saying that. But there is a learning curve, which I talked about. Debo, Holland, these guys are new. Shane Bowen's only
By
in
the
the
way,
second year.
this is not a bend but don't defense anymore.
not, no.
They're like third in blitz rate and fourth in man cover rate.
But
This is not a soft zone team anymore. That's not how they're playing.
you have to take the ball away, though.
Correct.
You have to, especially
Yes.
now. You got a young rookie quarterback who's going to need a lot of attempts to go out there and score some points. The Giants haven't been scoring a lot of points, especially at home.
Yes.
The Giants is like, I don't want to say they're allergic to scoring touchdowns at home, but it doesn't happen that much.
So just
here.
real quick, JC. Right now, the Giants are 6th in the NFL in percentage of the time they play single high, and they're 6th in the NFL in the percentage times that they blitz.
Really.
That is not the characteristics of a bend but don't break defense. They're only 35% of the time do they play too high. It's not a lot.
Yeah, got to get home. Got to win second and long.
Just to give you an example, The Chargers are 50% too high, so it's a big difference.
Yeah,
all right?
a huge difference.
And,
Absolutely.
and they're 5th highest in terms of too high percentage. So this is not that is not what this Giant. That's not the DNA of this Giants defense anymore. Like, they're blitzing and they're playing one high. That's what they're doing.
And when I say missed opportunities, it's not always about, the drop interceptions, the fumble, all that stuff. I'm talking about second and long. That is a missed opportunity. Because you want, as a defense, you want second and long. That's what you want. Then you can get real versatile with your defense. You can sit back in coverage. You can blitz. You can do a zone fire blitz. You can do a simulated blitz, which a lot of teams do now. That's like kind of taking form. But you got to win. That's a very winnable down for defense.
I apologize, by the way, for looking on my phone during the show here, but my man Brian Baldinger was texting me, and this goes back to the question that Marcus had us. And he asked us about the Giants' offensive line. It hasn't been as good as I want it to be.
Okay.
I mean, I don't think we're not looking at the 2023 Giants offensive line, which was one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life.
Went down. It was bad.
But last week, the Giants, I believe, either allowed the highest or the second highest pressure rate in the league. It was almost 50%. Chiefs blitzed 6 times. So if a team's not blitzing you, you cannot allow that high of a pressure rate.
Yep.
You cannot. And you cannot allow the type of pressure up the middle. And this goes back to what Baldy said to me. He goes, the Chargers, in his opinion, and no one watches the line more than he does, and he watches all the teams. Yeah. And he told me I can say this on the air, so I'm going to say it. They might have the best defensive tackle rotation in the league.
Oh, wow.
He said Tyler Tart's killing people. Jamari Caldwell, who we talked about during the draft this year, really big guy, very physical. They said and this is his quote, I have a great deal of respect for Quinn Miners, who might be the best guard in football right now. And he said those guys gave him all sorts of trouble last week. They did. So keep that in mind. And they have big edge. Like, Bud Dupree is a big edge. Yeah. He's 270. Yeah. All right? Tui Pelotu is also a big edge.
Yeah.
These are not small edge players. These are guys that will push the pocket and get after you. They don't have those, like, really small, fast guys that'll get upfield, but they have big guys that'll crush and condense the pocket. So we've talked about Jermaine Luminor's been really good this year.
Yeah, yes.
Andrew Thomas was great in his 20 snaps last week.
20 snaps? I was going to
Hopefully he gets up to 50 or 60 or the whole game this week. But can that interior of the Giants' offensive line, and I don't care how tall you are, interior pass rusher bothers all quarterbacks.
Absolutely.
You know that.
No, for sure.
So you got to do a good job against that interior Chargers front. It's funny, I even said to him, wow, Baldy, you really think that highly of them? He goes, dude, they've been awesome this year.
Yeah.
So something to keep in mind.
Okay. Yeah, I'll pay attention to that. And listen, this is the thing with the Giants. They talk about the spark. And so I just want to see competitive, physical football. Yeah. Competitive physical football. That's what I want to see for the Giants, right? And I think it starts defensively, because when you're going against this kid, Herbert, that's been an all-world type of guy, and they've been talking about this offense and Harbaugh and everything that they've been doing. It starts with the defense go out there and making plays right away, stopping them right away, getting into those second and longs, and winning, and getting into unmanageable third downs for offenses. Because the Giants, they're like knocking on the door to do that. They're having success on first down, some drives, right? We go back to the Dallas game, right before they completed the long pass to Ferguson. That play before that was a disruption. They got a PBU on that one, or they hit Dak on that one. The Giants have been flustering quarterbacks. Now they got to take advantage of it, getting off the field on winning on second and long and getting off the field on third down.
All right, let's wrap things up. We started a couple minutes late, so we'll give Wilson about 90 seconds here to say a spiel. Because according to Pearson, his topic is the usual. So,
Johnny, 90 seconds. All right. Jonathan,
dímelo, papi.
All right, listen, Jonathan, real quick. You're my boy, and I love you. Don't go there and tell me that Brian Dable doesn't play in the field, okay? If that was the case, no head coaches would get fired. It's impossible to lose 17 of 20 games in the NFL. It's impossible. This is not Alabama against Temple. That's all you need to know. That's all you need to know right there. And I'm done with talking about this head coach. And I'm going to hammer Johnny for 10 seconds that I have. I don't want to tell you, Johnny, this because I love you, but I told you so. I told you so in the summertime. Why are you bringing this Russell Wilson for? He's done. Everybody in the NFL told me he's done. Okay?
You talked to a lot of guys in the NFL, Wilson?
And you told me, Johnny, the worst Russell Wilson, still better than Daniel Jones. You're not looking too good. You're not looking too good.
Russell Wilson right
And
now is
I'm
14th in the NFL in EPA per play, just for the record.
Johnny, you keep giving me all these numbers, Johnny.
I know
fans
facts
don't
are a
do
hard
that,
thing to
Johnny.
handle, Wilson. I know facts are tough.
Johnny, fans don't. We don't look at all the papers you have in front of you.
He threw for 450 yards 2 weeks ago, bro.
Johnny, are the Bears a Super Bowl contender team? Is Caleb Williams the best quarterback in the NFL?
No, the Cowboys defense stinks.
against it.
Do you know how many times I've seen the last 2 years the Giants play a defense that stinks but still not score any points?
It's true.
I've seen it happen
Johnny,
plenty of times.
That's true.
Listen to me. If
Cincinnati last
Daniel
year,
Jones
first,
beats the LA Rams in LA, if I'm John Mara, I'm firing everybody. I mean, I'm firing the kid that falls the towels in the bathroom.
What about wait? So you including us in that?
Yeah, apparently.
Pearson too?
Pearson's out.
What we doing?
Jonathan, listen to me. If
What would you do
Daniel
without
Jones
us,
beats
Wilson?
the Rams and it's 4-0 and we are 0-4, I want someone fired, man. I don't care. Fire the guy that cooks the hamburgers in the kitchen.
Hey, we like the guy. Get Wilson. No.
Now get
Goodbye.
personal.
Hey, now,
That's
no.
too much.
Why you trying to take people out,
That's
Wilson?
too much.
Come on, bro.
That's too much. I understand all of even us. Not the guys in the cafeteria. What are we doing?
Well, I don't
What
want
are
to
we
get
talking about?
fired either, but no.
Well, I understand
I have
because
two
he
kids at
talks to
home.
us. So if he's mad
Right.
at us, I get that. Come on, man. What they do to him in the cafeteria? They're nothing but sweet people over there.
I know. Come on. They make our food.
I don't even
They're
know. What was
awesome.
he talking about? What was his point? What was his point?
He's mad that Daniel Jones is doing well.
He is playing well.
Good for him. And we're happy for him.
Yeah, we are. I respect him a lot. I have a lot of respect for Daniel Jones. And look, it's not easy to do what he did and go over there and he's playing some good ball, man. You know, and listen.
And again, Wilson, by the way, and I made this point a million times to you before, they signed Russell Wilson 2 months before the draft happened.
Right.
They didn't know they even had Jaxson Dart on the team when they signed
They
Russell
know they
Wilson.
can get a quarterback in the draft.
Correct.
Yep.
Correct.
Yeah. Like I said, I started the show saying that. I started the show saying that I think they did good. I think they did good with everything they did with the quarterback room since they signed Russell. Because you sign Russell, you sign a backup, you draft. First of all, you come back into the first round to get that fifth-year option for a quarterback that I think was underrated, you know, because no one had him going top 10. Everybody had Shador going top 10, right? Then you're able to get that fifth-year option, and then you allow Russell to go out there and play. You make Dart the number 2 back in, I guess, late August, and then it looks like Russell. You give Russell. I think you gave Russell enough time to show what he had, you know, and then the struggle at home. I think they're doing everything that they're supposed to be doing.
Let me ask you this
for that
question,
quarterback
John.
room.
If they had beaten Dallas, is Russell Wilson the quarterback this week?
Probably.
I think he is too.
Probably. You got to win.
I know. But
You gotta win
that game
games.
wasn't on Russell Wilson, though.
But wait though.
He did throw the pick at the end.
But
I
that's
know.
that's
I
the
know.
thing.
He did.
I'd
fair.
never want to absolve people from taking blame.
No, that's fair.
You know, like
No,
I
that's
think
fair.
Dave,
Fair.
somebody said it's not on Russell. It is. You know why? Because it's on everyone.
It's on everybody. That's correct.
You
No, you're
know,
right about
like
that.
you don't get bailed out because you played well. Like it doesn't happen. Like even if I have 15 tackles, 2 sacks, and we lost the game, what could I have done better to help my team?
Right.
That's what it comes down to. And for me, Russell, I think they just said, like, we got this young kid. Russell hasn't won games for us. Let's see what this young kid has. Because we haven't won games even with the magnificent performance from Russell Wilson.
I do wonder that. Obviously, we'll never know, but if they had won the Dallas game, would they have made the move this week? That's a good question.
Just if Aubrey misses that field goal.
Yeah, or what if Aubrey misses a 64-yard field goal? You never get to overtime, and he never even throws the pick at overtime.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
No, for real. But that's different.
It's like the butterfly effect.
Yeah, that's different.
It's like the butterfly effect.
You're right.
One little event changes a little bit,
Everything.
and then who knows?
Changes
Everything
everything.
can change.
Yeah.
You know, it is what it is. All right, everybody, thanks for joining us for Big Blue Kickoff Live, presented by Cadillac, the official luxury vehicle of the Giants. I didn't mention it. Later on today, Todd Haley is coming up on the Giants Huddle podcast. Go check that out on the Giants official podcast network feed. Of course, all of our episodes go up on YouTube as well. Make sure you go check those out, or on the Giants app. Or if you're on your smart TV, go download the Giants TV app. You can find all our programming there as well. For Jonathan Casillas, I am John Schmeelk from the Hackensack Meridian Hill Podcast Studio. Keep getting better. We will talk to you tomorrow at 12:30 for another episode of Big Blue Kickoff Live.